We will start the meeting. So good evening to all the commissioners and to Ms. Richards and Mr. Hurt.
Good evening.
Good evening. It is December 9th, and we will start our monthly Bloomington Human Relations Commission meeting. Just as a reminder, this meeting is being held virtually, live streamed. Mr. Hurt, did we have anyone register to participate?
No.
No? Okay.
We do have a message from Commissioner Carey. She won't be able to join us tonight, but she wanted to wish all of the commissioners a Merry Christmas.
Oh, wonderful. Thank you for sharing. She will be missed tonight. Okay, so we will move forward. I will call the roll for attendees. Commissioner Ajay.
Present.
Commissioner Jones.
Present.
Commissioner Konam. Commissioner McGinnis.
Present.
And Commissioner Carey is not present. And Commissioner Smith, present. And the last person that was appointed has not been sworn in. Am I correct, Mr. Hurt?
Correct. He'll
Okay.
be joining us for the January meeting.
Okay, thank you. So we will move forward as the agenda has been presented. The next item on the agenda, item number 2, is public comment. We didn't have anyone register, so we will move forward on the comment on the agenda. Item number 3, approval of minutes.
Did everyone have an opportunity to review the minutes before I make a motion?
Thank you for doing my role too.
No, I was about to make a motion. I make a motion to approve the minutes from the November meeting.
I second it.
Oh.
Okay.
Oh, there she is.
Was that Commissioner Konam?
Yes.
Okay,
Yeah.
she's present.
I just joined. Sorry.
So it's been properly moved and second to accept the November 17th special meeting minutes as presented. Is there any additional discussion before I call for the vote? Hearing none, I will call for the vote. Commissioner Konam,
I
Commissioner McGinnis,
Aye.
Commissioner Ajay,
Aye.
Commissioner Jones,
Aye.
and Commissioner Smith, aye. The motion to accept the minutes as presented has been approved. So the motion passes. Thanks. The next agenda item is introduction of the new Community Relations Manager and Staff Liaison. I will turn it over to you, Mr. Hurt.
All right. I want to present to some, introduce to some and present to others, probably a woman who needs no introduction in Bloomington. I have been Ms. Richards' supervisor for the 3 years that I've been here at the city. Of course, I've seen her work product, I've seen her work ethic, and highly recommended her for the community relations position. And I am so honored and so flattered. I'm just excited that she got the job. You're going to be very, very happy with her work product. So I'm going to give Nikki an opportunity to speak.
Thank you so very much for those very encouraging and kind words. I appreciate the fact that I get to work side by side with you now. Michael, thank you so very much. This is awesome. And that I get the opportunity to work with this amazing commission. So I know that there's been quite a bit of work on the agenda and you all have some thoughts about how you want to move forward in the future, want to be more innovative, want to be more progressive, but most importantly, want to be more community focused. And I'm here to help kind of be the legs to this commission and help you foresee or carry out that vision. So again, thank you so much for having me. And, you know, I'm an open book. I really appreciate the partnership. So if you have any concerns or you have ideas that as the liaison I can assist with, please feel free to email me or reach out, and I'll do you proud. So thank you.
Ms. Richards, I'd like to congratulate you on being selected as the Community Relations Manager and Staff Liaison for Bloomington. So kudos for that.
Thank you.
We look
Thank you
forward,
very much.
Yep. We definitely look forward to partnering with you as commissioners on the Human Relations, knowing some of the things that you've accomplished in the community. We know that we are definitely set up to keep going on the heels of what Mr. Hurt has laid the foundation for. So we look forward to working with you.
It's my honor, Chair Smith. Thank you again. Chair Smith, I believe you're muted if you were trying to
I
speak.
am.
Okay.
Yes, I said, thank you. There were no additional comments on agenda number 4. We're moving into old business. Item A, minority registration ordinance language, request for update status. I'm going to pivot over to Mr. Hurt.
I did get a chance to speak to Deputy City Manager Tyus today. And of course, he's had a lot on his plate, but I'm on his schedule for next week. So we're going to get a chance to sit down and talk next week and go over our proposal.
Okay. Comments from any of the commissioners on the next steps to move this forward?
I'd just like to point out that it's been a number of months now that this language has been on the desk of city administrators, and I would encourage Mr. Hurt and Ms. Richards to hold the administration's feet to the fire so that we can get some movement on this initiative. Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner Jai. Mr. Hurt, it sounds as if you're pretty certain that the meeting will be transacted next week?
Yeah, next week.
Okay.
But in terms of holding administration's feet to the fire, I really think that's the commission's job.
Thank you, Mr. Hurt. How would you recommend that we attempt to do that?
Just give them a call, keep it in front of them.
Okay, I try to abide by the Open Meetings Act and not email commissioners as a whole. So would it be appropriate for me to email, for example, the city manager and the deputy city manager and copy you so that you can forward that correspondence? I'm sorry, I'll copy Ms. Richards now, so that you all can forward that communication to the rest of the commissioners as an FYI?
Absolutely.
Okay, thank you.
If I may, for those commissioners who do not have my work-related email, I want to provide it to you now. It is nrichards@cityblm.org.
If you wouldn't mind including that in the minutes so we have a written record of it, I'd appreciate it.
Yes.
Will do.
Thank you for the conversation around the minority registration ordinance language and for providing that update, Mr. Hurt, as well as Ms. Richards for verbally providing your email contact information and ensuring that it will be included in the minutes taken tonight. Continuing on the agenda, divest, invest, next steps. Discussion of the HRC's position statement and future public forums and any other options. So I know in our last meeting, we had some healthy discussion around, should we take this topic to Mayor Renner, or was it something in our wheelhouse that we could continue taking action on? Mr. Hurt, was there, I don't know that there was an action item for you out of this, if I recall. Yeah, I don't think you had anything.
No.
Okay. Commissioners, what is our conversation around this topic tonight regarding next steps?
Commissioner Smith, or Chair Smith, I asked for this to be placed on the agenda.
Okay.
I was discouraged by the direction of our discussion in the last meeting about looking to the mayor for guidance on if we should, whether it was appropriate for this body to chime in on this issue. I would just reiterate that this is a community issue. We are supposed to represent especially the underprivileged within the community, and that body, the underprivileged, the oppressed, the marginalized, are the ones who are most impacted by detrimental police behavior. As such, I think it's incumbent upon this body to lead community discussions on appropriate responses to the policing issue that we have as a nation. And while we don't have it necessarily in Bloomington Normal to the extent that we see it on the national level, it's incumbent upon us to have the discussions to ensure that things don't go out of control. I saw some comments online, for example, about we should, quote unquote, trust the police and leave them to do their job, to which I would respond, the police are public servants who should take direction from those whom they serve. All that to say, I think we as a body need to discuss how can we foster communication between and amongst the various stakeholders so we can have a robust discussion about how do we approach policing in our community. I don't pretend to have answers. I don't pretend that the divest invest is the one and only solution. Without discussion, we can't have any knowledge about where we stand and where we'd like to go. So we've had one public forum, which was relatively poorly attended. Do we have another forum? That's one possibility. Do we open up some kind of public discussion where folks can chime in? Do we hold another forum like we had before? Do we invite specifically the leaders of the, I think it's 5 police law enforcement agencies in Bloomington, the mayor of Bloomington, the city manager? Let's sit around and talk about that. There's data out there about how much funding goes to the police and how much goes, for example, to the McLean County Department of Health. And we can talk about the overlap of work. And there's a lot of opportunities to talk about the nitty gritty of how much money are we talking about? Where does it go? And how much value do we get for those dollars? We haven't had those conversations. Everybody discusses on the periphery of the issue. Nobody wants to get down to exactly, let's talk dollars and cents and how can we reapportion this money? Rather, some people want to go to one extreme of, oh, let's abolish the police. And others want to go to the other extreme of, well, if we don't have money, we can't do our jobs. There's a middle ground. And again, I will point to international data that shows that diverting money from police to those bodies that actually do the work, social service agencies in particular, is valuable. I apologize for the long rant. I'm concerned about the silence that surrounds the table when these issues come up. And I don't want to hog the microphone, but if I don't speak, I don't feel like anybody else will or does. So I will end my statement there. Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner Jai. Do we have any response or comments from other commissioners?
Yeah, this is Commissioner Jones, and I don't know how to accomplish this, but one item of information that I think would be useful on this topic as well as other topics is if there was some way to get the pulse or feedback from individuals in the community. And just to give some examples, say for instance, if there was an opportunity or way to get specific feedback from like for instance, with this particular issue, from the minority population to basically to get some measure in regards to where the in general stand on that issue, and then perhaps even segment that into just getting other perspectives. And I'm just don't have a solution or an approach on how to do this, but there are additional topics that would be useful to have that type of insight from segments of our community in regards to what they feel strongly about, what they feel their concerns are. So it's kind of a spinoff of what Commissioner Kai has talked about. And what I'm saying is that, if there is an effort to conduct, I'm not saying a survey is the approach, but I'm just using that as an example, to get some community perceptions or insight from the community in general. Kind of a spinoff of the topic. So I did stray off of topic, so I apologize for that.
Okay, thank you, Commissioner Jones. Any other input or feedback, suggestions on this topic?
Well, I guess my concern is we need to get feedback from the general public, but they have not come to this organization, this group. Somehow we have to let the general public know that we're here and that we can help. But the only way we're going to do that is to get some feedback, and we have not been able to get the feedback. And I don't know what the best way to do it. But I think last year we had 2 complaints come to this group, if I'm not mistaken. And you know that there's a lot of problems out there, especially with, with all groups of people. We've gone through some difficult times. And somehow we have to get the news out that this is an organization that we could help them and work with them and identify the problems and try to find some solutions. But until we get people coming in and telling us, I'm not sure what we could do, to be honest.
Thank you,
Commissioner. Respond, Commissioner Smith?
Commissioner. Yes, I was just thanking Commissioner McGinnis.
Yes,
yes.
I appreciate his input and that of Commissioner Jones. And I think Commissioner McGinnis's point illustrates one of the fundamental problems with this commission at the moment, which is we are reactive. We haven't got any complaints. People haven't come to us to tell us. Where are we going out to them to ask what's going on? Like Commissioner Jones suggests, a survey or some way of getting out into the community to say, hey, we're here. We want to help you. What do you need? If we sit back and wait for folks to come to us, we'll be sitting for a long time.
Yeah.
So I'm really glad that Ms. Richards is with us. And I know that she has deep roots in the community and has connections in many places that many of us do not. And I'm looking forward to her outreach to various segments of the community so that we can get the sort of feedback that Commissioner McGinnis and Commissioner Jones are talking about.
Yeah.
Thank you, Commissioner Kai, for mentioning me. I do want to say that though I have these connections, I am one of many, and so I will be looking to this commission to do the work. As you know, I'm a hard worker, but I will be looking to members of this commission to help me carry out your vision. And so it was difficult for me to sit here and not want to chime in. So you threw me the hat, and so I have two thoughts here. Though I know I'm not a voting member, I think it's important for me to suggest two tools that I think could be helpful here when you're trying to garner community feedback and support. I think we have to be mindful that it's going to take time, but we have to get the ball rolling. And so one of the ways we can do that is by increasing our presence. And so I will be providing the commission with some thoughts and some ideas on some ways we could increase our awareness. But it's going to take each of us to participate, especially when it comes to utilizing our own social media platforms and creating this awareness about the HRC, but also making sure that before we create awareness, that we have our ducks in the row. And so again, I plan on talking to each of you about some of my ideas about that before we get to rolling out any type of awareness program or campaign. The second thought is to make sure that when we are garnering this feedback, that we are structuring these surveys or these listening sessions, virtual listening sessions, in a way that we ourselves are not imposing bias, because we know we have our own mission to accomplish here, and you know, things that we want to fulfill. However, we have to keep in mind that with these virtual listening sessions or these surveys, that we are truly serving and kind of composing these efforts in a way that is going to make people feel welcome to provide their input. For so long, they didn't even know that we existed. And now that people are aware, you know, and that we're trying to do things that are more community focused, it's going to take them time to trust, because you have to remember, we're also tied to the city of Bloomington, and the city of Bloomington is also in a transition and gaining the community's trust in certain areas. So I just wanted to make sure that I hit on those two things, and to let you know that I do have some ideas and some suggestions that I'll be rolling out to the commission.
One of the things that I've been concerned about is we have really no outreach program. How can we get to organizations in the community to tell them what we do here, and that HRC could be an organization that could help the community with these issues? And there's so many issues. You know, we talk about the police, and that is an issue, but there's housing problems, and it's going to get worse. It's not going to get better. There's so many other problems in the community for minority people that we need to really work on.
Thank you, Commissioner McGinnis and Ms. Richards, for the comments that you've shared. I want to circle back to the topic of divest, invest. I know that Commissioner Jai and Commissioner Jones both provided options, such as, do we host another forum? Do we garner, solicit information from the community? Thoughts on those types of things? I know Ms. Richards said that she had some ideas to put forward to us. Are we willing to pause this until we receive the information or have communication with her on the two ideas that she suggested or will suggest?
Chair Smith, I'm loath to wait 4 weeks between meetings for discussion and sharing, and then we get back in December, when are we now, in January, to talk about what we might do in March, for example. So I would like to recommend that we put on the agenda potential second public forum, and we specifically list those that will be invited. And I would suggest that includes the mayor of Bloomington, the Chief of Police of Bloomington at a minimum. I would like to include the McLean County Sheriff and a representative from the Illinois State Police at a bare minimum. I would also like to include the Black Lives Matter group, the NAACP, and what is the Multicultural Leadership Program from the MCCA, I think puts that out. Those are the minimum folks that I think should be involved. Maybe the DSA, Democratic Socialists of America. Maybe we want to include the members of the Republican Party and members of the Democratic Party. I think at a minimum, these are some players that will be able to provide insight. Both Commissioner Jones and McGinnis suggest that we want to know the input, the feelings of the community. As a member of Black Lives Matter, we have the pulse of the community. I'll tell you that they are very concerned about policing in our community. And we know there have been studies in the past from the Stevenson Center, for example, that have showed some discrepancies in policing vis-a-vis people of color in our community. So we can't hide behind, well, it doesn't happen in our town. Yes, it does. It's a question of degree, and we want to make sure that we minimize that degree of negative impact. So to summarize, I recommend we have another public forum, and we include those people that I've mentioned. And we try to get that on the agenda as soon as possible. And that suggestion will be informed by the perspective that Ms. Richards is going to bring to us. Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner Jai. We need a motion to put this on the agenda to move forward with building it out.
I move that we proceed with planning for a second public forum to include city leaders, at a minimum, the mayor of Bloomington, the chief of police of Bloomington, the McLean County Sheriff, and a representative from the Illinois State Police, and also to include from the community, a representative from NAACP, Black Lives Matter, multicultural leadership program, the McLean County Democrats, and the McLean County Republicans.
Is there a second on the motion?
The silence is deafening. Okay.
I second it.
Okay, it's been properly moved and second to move forward with another public forum so that we can begin planning the event and incorporate the information that Ms. Richards will share with us with the stated individuals at minimum invited to it to participate. Mayor of Bloomington, Chief of Police of Bloomington, was it McLean County Sheriff? And I know NAACP and MCLP and represented from the Democratic Socialists of America and someone from the Republican Party as well, and Illinois State Police rep. Did I include all of them, or who did I leave off? So
McLean
that
County Dems.
Oh, McLean County Dems, thanks.
Commissioner Smith, can I ask a question at this point before the vote?
I am about to open it up for discussion before we move to the vote. Yes. Any discussion on the motion?
The question that I had was so far as considerations for groups to be invited to participate, one consideration that I would be interested in is to have representatives from a group that represents or reflects Black men, particularly because if this particular issue really directly impacts Black men from a standpoint of addressing concerns for police brutality. So in having something like this, I think it would be beneficial to have representatives from groups that are African-American men, such, to give an example, the different fraternities that have conversations on this topic, the 100 Black Men. I just wanted to make sure that we aren't just limited to what's been stated so far as participants, but would be open to considering additional groups, particularly from that demographic.
I believe the motion was at minimum those, which left it open to include others. Did I misstate that?
That's correct, Chair
Okay.
Smith.
Okay. Commissioner Jones, did that answer your question that others could be invited to participate?
Yes, that's what I wanted to confirm, that the door was open.
Yes. Any other discussion before I call for the vote? Okay, hearing none, I'm calling for the vote on this motion. Commissioner McGinnis.
I abstain.
Okay. Commissioner Conam,
Aye.
Commissioner Jones,
Aye.
Commissioner Ajay,
Aye.
Commissioner Smith, aye. The motion passes. Thank you, commissioners, for that discussion. Next item on the agenda is list of minority businesses. Mr. Hurt, was that a topic for you or was that Commissioner Jones?
For Commissioner Jones.
Commissioner Jones, can you provide that update, please?
Yes, but also I just received a text from City Council Member Boca. He indicates that he was supposed to jump onto the Zoom, but don't have a link. He's going to check his junk mail. No, anyway, never mind. He just said he found it. So back to the topic. So far as the minority business listing, we currently have 56 that are in the directory that was developed back in June. And basically that is something that was put together that's somewhat of a self-service approach in which minority businesses can add their business information to the website that housed the directory. And then upon approval, as an administrator, it's published to the site. So that's something from a standpoint of something else that as a commission, we need to make an effort to promote more so that individuals in the community has greater awareness of that particular resource. But currently we have 56 entries in the business directory at this point in time. I didn't know if there was any specific questions about that. That's just kind of like just me reacting to that particular item on the agenda.
Commissioner Jones, do we have any entries from the construction industry at all?
Let me take a quick look. I have the site up on my phone right now.
I don't recall seeing any when I last looked. Is there?
We do not, as I scroll through here, just looking at the different categories that would fit into that. Yeah, we do not.
Yeah, I didn't think I recall seeing any. Okay, any questions regarding that topic or comments?
Thank you, Commissioner Jones, for maintaining that list and expanding it. It's a really valuable resource. And as you said, we need to expand it through the communities. So thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, if there aren't any additional comments, thank you, Commissioner Jai, for that response. We'll move to new business. Item number 6. We need to determine the date for selecting the MLK Award winners. Let me look to Mr. Hurt and Commissioner Jones to inquire about the number of applicants that were submitted for the Adult Award and the Youth Award.
Commissioner Jones will have those updates.
Okay.
This year we have we actually had 2 nominations for the adult category. However, only one of those are complete. One individual started one, but they did not finish. And this year for the youth category, we have 1 submission. And what I can do is provide Mr. Hurt or Nikita the link that will allow you to basically review the contents of the write-up for everything that we received this year. But in essence, the adult nomination, there's 1 individual that had been nominated. So that's going to be easy to make a decision on. And then also for youth, we have just 1.
Okay. So the thought is to send the link where this information is housed to Ms. Richards, and she will then cascade it to the commissioners, enabling them to review the information, the applications. Am I correct, Commissioner Jones?
That is correct.
Okay. Any comments on that, commissioners, before I move forward with having this discussion about a date? Okay. Hearing no comments on that, since we do not have to vote on either category, youth or adult, I still think it's imperative that we review the applications, and if we have any substantial feedback that we would want to put forth and have that accumulated, we need to have the opportunity to do that. So I know we're approaching another holiday. And being as it is only 2 applications that we will need to review and respond if we feel the need to do so. What if we, provided that Ms. Richards has the link to cascade out to us, today being the 9th, what if we were able to review, if she is able to send that link to us tomorrow? Is that possible, Ms. Richards, if Commissioner Jones sends that to you tonight or in the morning?
Absolutely, not a problem.
Thank you. Commissioners, I am going to propose that we have these applications reviewed and respond back to Ms. Richards by the 16th. So you have 1 week, which you can respond a lot sooner. Reactions to the 16th.
That's fine.
Yeah,
For
that's
me.
feasible.
Okay, so in order to make this official with the date I selected, I would like to get a motion on this so that it will be memorialized in our minutes properly. And I can't make the motion. Okay, is there another date? So I need a motion to select a date for this these applications to be reviewed and responses or comments shared back with Ms. Richards, our Community Relations Manager and Liaison.
I make the
Can-
motion that the commissioners review and share the feedback to Ms. Richards by 16th
I
of
second
December
it.
2020.
Okay, so it's been properly moved and second that we review the applications upon receipt of the link from Ms. Richards and share our feedback if we have some comments regarding the applications by December 16th, so that any feedback or comments provided to Ms. Richards can be merged together and will be discussed in our January meeting. Okay. Any discussion on that before I call for the vote, commissioners? Hearing none, I'll call for the vote. Commissioner Jones,
Yes.
Commissioner Ajay,
Aye.
Commissioner Konam,
Aye.
Commissioner McGinnis,
Aye.
and Commissioner Smith. Aye. So the motion passes. Thank you, commissioners. The next item is Juneteenth clarification by Councilman Mboka. Is he on the call now?
Yes, I am.
Oh, welcome to our
Oh, thank you.
December Human Relations Commission. So
Exciting.
in the November meeting, we were made aware that the council had approved or discussed the Juneteenth, awareness of it being a holiday, not a paid city holiday. And so we had some discussion around what does that look like? What does that feel like? And what is the responsibility, expectations of the HRC, and kind of what was the undercurrent of wanting to bring the, make Juneteenth an official holiday. Commissioners, did that kind of summarize up our discussion, or if there's other points, please bring them forth now?
That sounds accurate to me. We wanted to get his vision in regards to the event, to how to be executed.
Okay. I will turn it over to you,
Okay.
Councilman.
Okay. Well, thank you very much. First of all, I want to say, that I was very excited that the council voted unanimously to make Juneteenth a city observance, so which would not make it a paid holiday, but it would be an observance. So something, a chance for people to reflect on the significance of Juneteenth. One of the primary component for me, being a person who works in education, was the education piece of it. So what I had envisioned was that on the Saturday following Juneteenth, that we the city organizes some events in order to not only celebrate the victory over slavery, but also in order to educate people on the significance of Juneteenth. Because as I had noted in my remarks to the council, it became clear to me that many across the nation, but also including in the city, were not aware of Juneteenth and its significance. So the focus should be on education, but also celebration. So what I had envisioned was that it could start with a parade. And again, I am open to, because like I always say, I don't think I have the answer to everything and all the solutions. So, if you were to come up with something that you think is actually better, sure, I think it's open for discussion. But what I wanted it to be, I wanted it to be something that is, fairly big, and that, people and could even have some economic development component to it if we were able to make it so big that we would have people from the neighboring communities coming and attending. So in that regard, then I thought, okay, I think it would be good to do. We could do a parade in the morning to get the day going, but then so it would be also bookended, bookending the day with a parade in the beginning, and then at the end, a concert, as an additional celebration, and that could also include, food, and many other things that you could imagine that people could come up with in order to celebrate the day. But then in between, throughout the day, having had a conversation with folks from the Black History Project with the McLean County Museum of History, people like Arlene Jose, Willie Halbert, then there would be some educational components to the day. How that transpires, I think it depends, but one thing that I told when I was working with Billy on this, I wanted to make sure that we spoke with Arlene Jose, Willie Halbert, to make sure that they were involved, because they do something on their own, and I certainly did not want to upstage what they were doing. What I was looking to do is simply to augment it. And have us work together. So not have the city take over what they're doing, but to kind of work in partnership with them. And so in terms of, the educational components, again, I think, there is some room for flexibility there. I could envision people having some discussions around health issues affecting the local African American community, but also education issues, could be economic opportunities or lack thereof, or youth issues, and anything other that we think might be appropriate. So again, some flexibility there. So that's generally what I had envisioned. So I don't know if you have any questions. Oh, there's another thing too that I had thought about, and I thought, fundraising, reaching out to local partners in the community who could be interested in sponsoring the event, I think might be also something worthwhile to look into in order to be able to make the event even bigger than we could on our own. I think that's all I have. I hope that clarifies what I was thinking and not confuse people.
Thank you, Councilman. Commissioners, do you have any questions for the councilman or comments regarding the information he shared?
Councilman Mboka, this is Commissioner Ajayi. Thank you for joining us today and bringing those clarifying comments.
Yes.
I have a number of questions and issues of perspective I'd like to share with you and get your input on. The first of which is that Juneteenth, while it is a celebration, and you categorized it as a celebration over slavery, I think we should point out that it was a 2.5 year delay in letting people in Galveston, Texas know that emancipation had already happened. And by the way, you're already free. So while it is a celebration I think at the same time, one has to acknowledge that it exemplifies the propensity of our government to oppress people of color. It's not something that started in 1865. It's something that started in 1614. So while there's an element of celebration, I think one also has to figure out in the educational piece that you so rightly brought to the fore, that I think it's important that we, in the educational piece, we stress that this was an injustice. This was a recognition of an injustice. And unjust practices continue to this day. So my question is, as we quote unquote celebrate Juneteenth, is there a way that we can incorporate the lasting impact of enslaving people of color for 400 years? So that's the first thing. The second is that I love your ideas of the parade and the discussions and the health issues and the youth issues, but I'm particularly, I take particular note of your mention of the Black History Project, which for a number of years, stretching back, quite frankly, decades, has recognized Juneteenth and has had a lack of support from the city of Bloomington. So I wonder whether our efforts should be to, you mentioned you don't want to upstage and rather augment those efforts. And I wonder if we would be better served, rather than as a commission attempting to start from a blank piece of paper, whether we as a Human Relations Commission should actually form a joint committee with the Black History Project to find out how we can help augment what they've been doing, what ideas they have, rather than trying to reinvent the wheel, to work in concert with them. So those were my main 2 points. I might have others depending on how much time we have, but that's where I'm coming from.
Yeah. Okay. So yeah, and I think it is perfectly appropriate. You know, like I said, it's an opportunity for people to be educated. So your first question, the first point that you raised, I think is totally appropriate. You know, people need to be educated about the various issues affecting the Black community, about the fact that it took about a couple of years for people to be informed that they were in fact free. So I think that's perfectly fine. And I also agree that if you want to form a joint committee with folks from the Black History Project, I'm all for it. You know, I again, like I said, I don't want to upstage anybody. I think it's that would be great.
Yep, this is Commissioner Jones speaking, and this actually all plays together very well. Very well. I'm on the board for the Bloomington Normal Black History Project, and it's a conversation that we've been having so far as the impact of the new effort for Juneteenth, and basically it's been our hopes to have a collaboration. And with all of the things that you stated there's a lot of expertise and some past experience so far as conducting the Juneteenth event that definitely would be mutually beneficial. So I agree with what's been stated so far as a collaboration with the Black History Project really has a super foundation, as well as a deep history that goes back to 1993 during the first event that's been held, but also the opportunity to make things to enhance the event overall with the partnership with the city.
Yeah, definitely. And I think, that was also one of my, one of my goals is to make sure that we institutionalize it, within the city, so that it's not forgotten, and that it gets a lot more visibility. So yes, I don't want to reinvent the wheel. Like I said, I bring things forward, and if people have a better way of doing it, I'm not in it for the glory for me personally. If people have a better way, have a better idea of how to do it, then I think that's fine. I'm one person. I recognize that there is a lot of um, uh, expertise within the community with that. And as a matter of fact, when Arlene reached out to me, Arlene Jose reached out to me to discuss it. She and I have worked at ISU on a number of different programs. So, and she knew my approach is always to be collaborative. So if there is a better way to do it, then that's fine. I'm just happy that we have something where the city, where this is institutionalized, and then the Human Relations Commission can work in concert with the Black History Project to make it happen. And it might even be better than what I had envisioned. So.
Councilman Mboka, I really respect your collaborative approach to issues such as this. And it's important that public leaders let it be known where they stand on particular issues. So for example, you bringing the importance of Juneteenth to the fore says to me that you think basically that Black Lives Matter, that our history is an important history that needs to be shared. And I would like to point out that, as you mentioned, the potential for economic development and bringing in neighboring communities to help us celebrate this event. I wonder how do you reconcile that with the fact that we are a blue county in a very red region? And if you've paid any attention to the online comments on the Pantograph or Bloomington Normal News Now, I believe it's called, Diane Benjamin's website, you will find that there are a very vocal segment of our population that is vehemently anti any of these sort of efforts that that seek to uplift those who've been traditionally marginalized. So all that to ask two questions. One, is my interpretation of your standing up for this issue an affirmation of the statement that Black Lives Matter? And number two, are you willing, or do you realize the potential blowback that's going to come from those that I'm going to kindly call racially insensitive members of our community, and how they may react to these efforts?
Yeah, of course, Black lives do matter, and I think it is important. This is an important part of our history, and I think it is important for people to be made aware of it. Okay, and as to the blowback, I don't think that should stop us, because if we are education people, that's what we should do. We should strive for, and I think in my opinion, you should not be afraid of the blowback. History is history. The truth is the truth. And you present it. Sure, there could be some resistance to it. But I think over time, you have to keep plowing forward. So that doesn't stop me. I think it's something that I felt strongly about, that needed to happen. And, we're going to make it happen, and we're just going to move forward.
Well, thank you. It's refreshing to hear you take a stand as opposed to listening to this side and that side before coming to a position. So I appreciate your support for people of color and bringing this issue to the forefront, and let's see how the public reacts. I, as a member of this commission, look forward to working in collaboration with the Black History Project to make this city recognized holiday meaningful and worthwhile, both from an empowerment perspective and from an educational perspective. So thank you.
Yes, definitely. And I would add to that, when this is something that I've done a lot at ISU, and Commissioner Ajay, you probably know this from the cultural dinners that I used to do on campus. It is important for people to see their history celebrated, their accomplishments to be so, or at least their history to be recognized. Because when you do that, then you let people know that they are important. So I think as a city, we need to do that. As a community, we need to do that. It is important.
Okay. I want to quickly see if there are any other commissioners with responses or comments regarding the information shared by Councilman Mboka. He thoroughly shared what his vision and expectations were when he worked to get this Juneteenth observant approved.
You said thoroughly, so does that mean that I talk too much?
No. No, I just mean that you clearly articulated.
I know, I was kidding.
Okay. I think we have acquired the information we needed on this topic. We have mentioned, or it has been mentioned a couple times here about working in collaboration with the Black History Project. Are we ready to vote on working in concert with them, or do we need to pause and have more conversation with them to ensure that they are fully on board with collaborating with us on this topic, on this item, to move it forward?
This is Commissioner Jones. Being a part of the Black History Project, we've been having conversations, waiting confirmation to be allowed to partner with the Human Relations Commission on this effort. So there's definitely interest from their side. So I would be ready to make a motion that we move forward with collaboration with the Black History Project on the Juneteenth effort, celebration effort.
I would second that.
Commissioner McGinnis, can you hold that for a second, please? Appreciate your willingness to do it. Commissioner Jones, can you officially state your motion you move to do?
I make the motion that the Human Relations Commission partners with the Bloomington Normal Black History Project on the Juneteenth celebration effort beginning in 2021.
Okay. Now, Commissioner McGinnis.
I will second that motion.
Thank you. Okay, it's been properly moved and second that the Bloomington Human Relations Commission partner with the Black History Project to coordinate, yeah, thank you, to coordinate the 2021 Juneteenth celebration or observance of that event that took place. Any additional discussion before I call for the vote?
Chair Smith, I'd like some clarification on what this coordination looks like. My preference would be that we create a subcommittee and name that subcommittee that will work with the Black History Project. Alternatively, that we task our new liaison, Ms. Richards, with that coordination. So either one. I don't want to put everything on her head, as she's mentioned before. We are commissioners and we're expected to do some work. So I would offer a friendly amendment that we name a subcommittee of this Human Relations Committee to do said coordination with the Black History Project.
I accept the amendment.
And I would volunteer to be on that subcommittee.
And I also volunteer to be on that since I wear two hats.
Okay, so your amendment to this motion was,
I'll rephrase. I offer the following friendly amendment. A subcommittee consisting of Commissioner Jones and Commissioner Ajayi work in concert with Ms. Richards to coordinate efforts between the Black History Project and the Bloomington Human Relations Commission to develop a procedure for celebrating Juneteenth in 2021.
okay. I don't know if Mr. Hurt or Ms. Richards is capturing the meeting minutes.
Yes, I'm capturing minutes for the meeting.
Okay, did you get the friendly amendment?
Yes, and it's
Okay.
being recorded, so I'll be listening
Okay.
back to this later.
Okay, thank you. All right, friendly amendment, I believe, doesn't necessarily call for a vote, another vote, does it?
No, it's been accepted by
Yep.
the original proposer, so we can
Yep.
vote on the original motion as amended.
Yeah, so I will move forward to call for the vote. Commissioner Conam,
Aye.
Commissioner McGinnis,
Aye.
Commissioner Jones,
Aye.
Commissioner Ajay,
Aye.
and Commissioner Smith, aye. The motion passes. Thank you, commissioners. The next item under new business is minority voter registration drive. Who brought that item forward?
That was me, Chair Smith. And point of order, I don't know if my agenda is different from yours. I did not have the discussion of the MLK dinner on mine. And on mine, I have welcoming city as the next agenda item. Am I looking at a dated document?
So let me get clarification here. Commissioners, what do you have as item D under new business?
I
have-
have,
Go ahead.
I have item C, which is discuss potential planning session for.
Oh, yeah. I skipped over that, didn't I? Okay.
I
And then what
saw-
follows that?
And then the minority voter registration. I saw an earlier version of the agenda, but then I saw an adjusted one in which Mr. Hurt sent out because he indicated he had to prioritize because there were a plethora of items. So that's,
So let's go back. Thank you. Commissioner Jai, does that clear up what is going on with the agenda?
It does not, because the corrected version that I have has under new business, A, accessibility issues in the city of Bloomington, B, Juneteenth clarification, C, welcoming city, and D, minority voter registration drive.
Right, that was the second iteration of the agenda, Commissioner Ajay. So, and everyone should have gotten the very last one. I apologize, there were so many.
My fault. I have the most recent one now. Thank you.
Okay,
So when you state the most recent one, Commissioner Jai, is that the one that says A, determine selection date for MLK?
Correct.
Okay. So let's go to item C, discuss potential planning session date for 2021.
I'm not sure what this refers to, Mr. Hurt.
I think this was Commissioner Jones's addition.
Yes. Basically, the spirit of this particular item is to discuss planning to have a planning session to kind of determine the things that we will focus on for 2021, the approach, just pretty much get our ducks in order in regards to the things that we think will be beneficial for the commission to focus on, the things that we think we need to execute on. So in essence, just a very high level discussion about having such a session as well as a target date or target timing to try to have a session of that nature, or even if we need to have a series of sessions. But really, it's just kind of a first step in getting prepared to have some type of planning session for 2021 so that we can kind of execute with more of a focused purpose next year. As well as, to get input from the commissioners to see if they feel something like that would be beneficial.
Are you suggesting this in addition to our regularly scheduled meetings, or that we would have one of these at a regularly scheduled meeting?
Whatever we think would be appropriate. If we feel that just basically dedicating a monthly meeting to a planning session, I'm open to that, but just basically having some dedicated time towards planning for 2021. So whether that's a supplemental meeting or trying to utilize an existing meeting, just throwing the ideal out there, but don't really have the firm thoughts on the approach.
I love the idea of trying to focus our efforts for a 12-month period. I really think that's important. I wonder if we could not achieve that goal through correspondence in between meetings, as we did before this one, where we share agenda items with our liaison, and that person can share all of our thoughts, and then we can, in between meetings, come up with, okay, everybody ranks what they think the most important issues are, and then at a meeting, we could simply say, okay, here's 1 through 10, let's prioritize 1 through 5, and then we can move on, rather than taking up the whole meeting or trying to come up with a separate meeting in which to have those discussions.
Commissioners, any thoughts on the planning session? Are you in favor of it? What's your discussion on that? I know we've had them in the past, and typically they were in addition, they were a supplemental meeting. Just because we've done it one way in the past doesn't mean that we continue to do it that way. So I'll put it on the table. Is there interest in the planning session?
I would be interested in a planning session. I think the idea of trying to do it between meetings by correspondence makes a lot of sense. Then we can, I think, give more thought to the process.
Okay, so perhaps tonight is the motion to vote to approve having a planning session, and then decide what that format looks like to execute on having the planning session in January, or are you comfortable deciding what the format of that planning looks like tonight as well?
And Commissioner Smith, I actually would be comfortable with you setting direction in regards to preference so far as how to conduct these sessions.
So
if you need to ponder it as well.
I do fully support and believe that we need to have a planning session. However, I'm supportive of doing the email. Sometimes things get lost in email. Things are interpreted one way. in the back and forth of the emails, I'm a little hesitant. I'm hedging on that, but if that's what the commission wants to do, I'm also a little concerned about using our meeting time unless we put a hard stop on the discussion for the planning session within our meetings. That looks and feels okay to me, but there has to be a hard stop so that we can do the business, the official business of the HRC meeting. So, but the commission will ultimately take a vote and determine what they feel is best. Does that answer your question, Commissioner Jones?
It does. And it also kind of rings a bell to one of the approaches that has been used in past years, in which on the evening of a regular meeting, I think we met, I forget how much earlier, but we met earlier that same night, dedicated that time to planning, and then conducted the regular meeting agenda. So that's just like an additional ideal so far as approach.
Chair Smith, I'm sympathetic to your concerns about meaning and nuance being lost in email communication. And I think that just makes it incumbent upon those who are drafting their email messages to be as clear and specific as they possibly can, and to answer any questions that may arise from their communication. Regarding Commissioner Jones's suggestion about a pre-meeting meeting, I would ask our liaisons about the implications for the Open Meetings Act. Will we not have to publicize that well in advance and provide for public inputs and yada, yada, yada?
Mr. Hurt or Ms. Richards,
sorry,
he's
yes.
tossing that over. Okay.
Yeah, we would. It would be the same situation where you have a forum meeting. We'd have to publicize it as an open meeting.
If I'm correct, I believe that would be a special meeting. Is that right, Michael?
It would be.
So also, this is Konam here. I would like to add that, yeah, we will probably need both of them, because we may need email communication to gather our thoughts or action items to take to to our special meeting. So that way, we are getting best utilization of the time. So those are my thoughts.
Okay, thank you, Commissioner Konam. Was there any thought to potential date for this to occur? I'm just trying to ensure if we can get a motion that includes date, format of it, all of that.
I would be inclined, Commissioner Chair Smith, to put a deadline of our next scheduled meeting for commissioners to share with the group their preferred topics of concentration, shall I say, for the next year. Share those with our liaison, who will then share with the group. And then we can come to our January meeting with a list of those issues and prioritize them in the first 15, 20 minutes, half an hour of our January meeting, and then move forward.
Okay, can I get a motion on that? Yes.
Chair Smith, I move that the commission members produce a list of their priority topics for 2021 and share said list with our city liaison at least 1 week prior to the January meeting to allow consolidation of the list and sharing with the commission for review and prioritization in the January meeting.
Such a model move. Thank you, Commissioner Jai. Is there a second to that?
I'll second it.
Okay, it's been truly properly moved and second. Any additional discussion on that motion around the timing of the Planning Commission, how it will be transacted? No discussion. I'll call for the vote. Commissioner McGinnis,
Aye.
Commissioner Conam,
Aye.
Commissioner Jones,
Aye.
and Commissioner Ajay,
Aye.
and Commissioner Smith, aye. The motion passes. Thank you, everyone. The next item on the agenda is minority voter registration drive.
Yes, Chair Smith, this is something that I forwarded to Mr. Hurd for inclusion in the agenda.
Yes.
In the
please
interest
go
of
with it.
time, I would say that this is something that I would like to include on my list of priorities for 2021. And I would like commission members to think about whether this is an appropriate venue for the Human Relations Commission to lend its hand. I think it is, but I'm open to discussion on that. So please consider this in your thinking about our goals for 2021. Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner Jai. So we will see this item on the list of goals as a potential high focus for us when we come together again in January, but you will submit it to Ms. Richards. Okay. I think we have covered everything on the agenda. Next scheduled meeting date is January 13th. And we know that is only a few days before the virtual MLK, as a reminder. So let me go around the room quickly, virtually, to see if there are any items that we omitted unintentionally. Commissioner Jones.
Nothing else other than just wanted to wish everyone a happy holiday.
Thank you, Commissioner Jones. Commissioner Conam.
Nothing from my end. Happy holidays.
Thank you, Commissioner Conam. Commissioner McGinnis.
Nothing.
Okay, thank you. Commissioner Ajay.
You know, I have to say something or you'll be disappointed in me.
I will be.
Councilmember Malambwe spoke about educating on the truth. And I think that our current political situation shows that in many cases, the truth is immaterial. And I think we need to push back on that. And our Juneteenth celebration needs to focus on the fact that a saying that I often share is, without truth, there can be no reconciliation. So the first step to reconciliation is sharing the truth. And I hope that our body can play a significant part in sharing what one TED Talk individual called hard history, so that we can all learn from it and be better.
Thank you, Commissioner Jai. Mr. Hurt, did you have any parting words for the commission tonight?
It's been a pleasure working with you. I kind of hate the fact that as soon as I got the position, the pandemic hit. So we didn't get to do very much together. But you're in very good hands. I leave you in very good hands. And I won't be far away from the whole situation. So I still plan on having my input every now and then. But everybody have a wonderful, happy holiday. Merry Christmas.
Thank you. You will be missed, Mr. Hurt. We do look forward to building the same type of relationship with Ms. Richards. Ms. Richards, did you have any comments before we adjourn the meeting?
I do have a comment and more of a question, and I please forgive me for extending the meeting past the time, but I'm going to make this really quick. I know that we're planning for the upcoming MLK event, and just was wondering, are we partnering with anyone, or as it relates to helping us carry out the virtual component? Do we have experts who are helping us with that? And the reason why I asked is because I have been speaking with some close counterparts of mine who we work in the communications realm together, and these individuals that I was speaking to were responsible for carrying out the YWCA's Woman of Distinctions event that was so well put together in a virtual space. And they offered to also assist and kind of volunteer if there was an opportunity to help us with the virtual component of the MLK event. So I was just wondering, did we need help in that area? And if we don't, that's fine. But I just know they did a remarkable job, and I know that we are trying to make sure that our MLK event is superb and goes off without a hitch. So if we could, we can save that for another conversation, or maybe we can, find ways to communicate about that later, or you direct me on to whom I should speak to directly on the commission about this, and I'll help with that. So just wanted to leave you all with that information.
Okay, thank you, Ms. Richards. I don't believe that we have employed, I don't mean like employee, anyone to assist us in that area, but can we take that offline?
Absolutely.
Okay, thank you. So I wish everyone a very, very happy holiday. Stay safe, healthy, and be positive. Let's look forward to having a more positive impact in the community in 2021. Along with that, in order to have that positive impact, there has to be awareness of the commission. So I would encourage everyone to come back to the January meeting with lots of synergy and energy and full awareness of what the ordinance is and what we're supposed to be carrying forth. So again, thanks everyone for your time tonight, and enjoy the rest of your evening. Can I get a motion to adjourn the meeting?
I make the motion that we adjourn the December meeting.
I second it.
I'd like to have discussion about that, please. The discussion is, I wish you all a very Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year.
Yes, I wish the same for everyone.
Mr. Hurd already ran away, so I guess we can. Good night, everybody.